Hello, this is Keith Kevin Ken. Time for another mini collection video. Here on this channel, on the Keith Kevin Ken channel, every single day we do a pocket dump where we talk about and play with about 4 different knives. So if you're interested in 4 different knives every day, why don't you hit that subscribe button and be a part of this family we have, this knife community that we're beginning here on YouTube. But now the mini collections, at least once or twice a week, we start focusing on a subset of one of the bigger collections. Today, guess which one? Actually, I put these knives out as a size comparison because today we are going to talk about the Spyderco Sage series. The Sage series is by far, as a series, by far Spyderco's most popular series. Not the most popular knives, but definitely the most popular series. We're going to talk about the Sage series in just a few moments. I'll be highlighting Sage 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then talking a little bit about the just announced Sage 5. As I record this, February 2016, right off of the SHOT Show 2016, we hear there's a new Sage coming this year, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So we're going to talk about the Sage. That's Sage 1 that you see on the desk. I just wanted to give you a feel for the size of the Sage series. This is the Delica, one of the most popular Spyderco knives, a bigger knife. You take a look at the Spyderco Delica knife, again, one of the most popular Delica knives. So I figure if you're a Spyderco fan, you at least got a sense of what the Delica is. The Sage is about the same size as the Delica. The Sage has that great Spyderco leaf blade, while the Delica has kind of a modified leaf blade. So you can tell that it's about the size of a Delica. If you are a Chris Reeve fan, and I know a lot of you are, I know I am, you can see that the Sage is a little smaller than the small Sebenza. This is the large Sebenza, riddled Sebenza, and a small riddled Sebenza to give you some kind of something to look at and compare when looking at the Sage. So the Sage is a little bit smaller than the Delica and a little bit, just a pinch smaller than the small Sebenza. So now you know it's about a small Sebenza, small Delica size. Now this is what's up with the series. Each of these knives pretty much have the same dimensions. They are S30V steel. They have that wonderful Spyderco leaf blade. They differ a little bit in the scales, the materials for the scales, but really this wonderful series has been developed to highlight the great knife makers who have created the locking folder knife. Remember, for most of the pocket knife history, there really wasn't a lock on it. Almost all of them were slip joints, a non-locking knife. And Spyderco, along with all of these great knife makers, have made the locking folding knife very popular. This is the Sage 1. The Sage 1 carbon fiber, peel ply. This is a great example of what you'll see on all of the Sages. The same size. They have a 50-50 choil. A 50-50 choil means that 50% of the choil is really from the handle. The other 50% is from the bottom of the blade. That's wonderful. Spyderco is great at that. What they do is not waste a lot of the blade space on the choidal, but they want you to have a big choidal for even fat hands like mine, fat fingers like mine, to rest real comfortably so that you can do a lot of work with it. And so they take that out of the handle. So you can see even on a smaller knife like this, about the size of a Delica, you can see that it fits my hand very well, especially when you choke up on that choidal. It's really nice. The other thing about this knife and every single knife, Spyderco made the right choice. They use my favorite pocket clip, and that's the deep pocket wire clip. So you'll see on all of the sages that I'm about to show you that they all have that great choil, the 50-50 choil. They all are S30V. They all have this wonderful superior clip from Spyderco. And what really makes them different, of course, is their lock. Sage 1 celebrates the liner lock. This is the Michael Walker liner lock. Spyderco uses it on all of its knives if it's a liner lock. It's very nice. What I love about the Sage, liner locks are not my favorite, frankly. I think they're, it's not that I don't think they're safe. Obviously they're safe and you can hear that lock in real tight. It's just trying to get to it to release it. In this case, Spyderco's great. They have this indentation that's wonderful for your fingers, makes it very relaxed and very, very easy to get to that liner lock. I really hate those knives, and some of them are Spyderco, and you guys know it too, where it's so hard to get a hold of that liner lock, but this is a wonderful liner lock. Sage 1, very popular in the Sage series. That's the carbon fiber Sage, and it's the tribute to Michael Walker and his liner lock. Sage 2. Let me tell you, if it's an all-time favorite Sage of most people, and for me, it's the Sage 2. All titanium. Of course, it has that same S30V steel. As we talked about, it has that wonderful clip. And guess who we're celebrating here? Yeah, it's the Chris Reeves integral lock. Spyderco always uses Chris Reeves' design for that frame lock, the integral lock. Sage 2 is just a wonderful EDC knife. You know, all of these Sages are perfect size for EDC. Just perfect. But, man, when you talk about an all-tie Spyderco S30V, oh man, that wonderful clip, the wonderful Chris Reeve integral lock. Man, this is the favorite. It's on most folks' top 10 lists. It's definitely on my top 12 list right now of all Spydercos. I really love it, and so do most people. That's the Sage 2, one of the most popular Spydercos around. Sage 3 celebrates the Blackie Collins bolt action lock. Here's a bolt action lock. You're probably most familiar with the bolt action lock on the Mannix. The Mannix, to me, is the most well-known with the bolt action lock from Spyderco. This is the Sage 3 all blue G10 with the G10 back. You pretty much need for this, for the bolt action lock, you have to have a nice piece of backing to hide the workings of the lock. It's really nice. The one thing about a bolt action lock, every single Mannix that I have, most bolt action locks, when it releases, that blade just, it just drops. It's very steady, very good lock, And man, when you release it, I have never had a knife with this lock that isn't as smooth as butter. And that is as smooth as butter. That's the Blue G10 Sage 3. Spyderco did with this, with the Sage, is the same thing they do with most of their knives. And that is, they looked at the Sage 3 with blue and said, hey, we need some more carbon fiber laminate. This is the exact same knife, except it's a carbon fiber feel on the sides of it, on the handle. Yes, of course it drops like butter. It's the bolt action lock. It's a very nice knife. Sage 3 comes in the Blue G10 or the carbon fiber laminate. And then Sage 4. Now let me tell you about Sage 4. I personally got very excited when I saw the Sage 4. The Sage 4 is a very, very sturdy knife. I think it represents Spyderco's best locking knife. That's my opinion. And that's their back lock. This is a tribute to Almar and his contributions to the back lock. This is Arizona ironwood and a titanium bolster. It's a little heavier than all the rest of the Sages. Some people think it's ugly. I actually do not. I like it. It gives me that old-time feeling with the wooden handle and that wonderful titanium bolster. But I'll tell you, this Sage did not sell. All the other Sages sold wonderful. This Sage, the Sage 4, discontinued by Spyderco. The interesting thing is, here's the most unpopular Sage, and this Sage 4, as the years go on, will be the most expensive because it's so limited, because very few people liked it. That's discontinued. Now the good news is that Eric Glesser just announced at SHOT Show 2016 that they are coming out with a brand new Sage this year. It'll probably be towards the end of the year. It will be the Sage 5. It will be carbon fiber. It looks like Sage 1, except the lock that it will be representing, oh man, I can't wait, is the compression lock. The compression lock is the lock that you get on the Paramilitary 2, where you get it back here. It's just so wonderful. Everything drops when you get the compression lock. So the news right off the press, hot off the press, if you're just tuning in to see this video in February 2016. If you're watching it later, you already know it, and I've probably already updated the video with Sage 5. Sage 5 is a carbon fiber Sage 5 with a compression lock. So Spyderco is adding to this very popular series. There you go. That's the Sage mini collection here on the Keith Kevin Ken YouTube channel. I'm Kevin. If you like what you see, if you enjoy our daily uploads and our mini collections, please thumbs this up. Don't forget to subscribe. We want to build a knife community here on YouTube so that we can play with knives, talk about the knives that we have, and keep everyone updated on what's coming out. I really appreciate you giving me your time to watch this video. I know just how important and valuable your time is. I want you to know that. So thank you for giving me some of it. Hope you have a perfect day. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.